And the thought I had...
All right, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. So we are in Southampton. The cloud cover is starting to lighten up a little bit, but the roads are still kind of wet. But the speed limit is now 35. And at 35, which I am doing, things do move a lot slower. And guess what? You know, you don't have to get in an accident. You can see people stopping and start stopping before you're right on top of them. And people want to pass me and they floor it, seeing that the light is red or seeing that their traffic in front of them is not moving, and they are still on the gas, killing their mileage, and then having to slam on their brakes and probably going to smash you in the back, and you're going to get whiplash. So if you just start stopping a little early, you'll still be moving by the time you get to that traffic and not have to get that car moving again. I don't know why everybody has to get to the place where you have to stop and then start again. Why would you want to sit there waiting? I'll just go slow up to it and still be moving. And instead of getting single-digit miles per gallon, I'll get double-digit miles per gallon. But in any case, back to our story.
Entire life, we never think about the fact that we may die. And I'm
we're
looking
gonna
out
die.
the window and I'm thinking, I may never see these trees again.
We
I
all
may never
die.
see the sky again. And it was such, like, that moment imprinted itself on my brain. And everybody out there, and I know you have listeners right now who have just recently been diagnosed, who are in that same place. I was so scared. And the one thing I want to offer as a reassurance to everybody out there who's facing this disease, it gets better. It gets better. I promise you it gets better. Because the first couple of weeks, you're in shock. You're numb. You can't even believe that this is happening to you.
And you say that. Why me?
All right, I just got to see where I'm going. So it'll be nice and quiet for a couple of minutes here. All right. Enjoy.
It's not only why me. It's even beyond that. It's to a level of I could die. And yeah, we all kind of think about it someday, and we write wills, and we do these things, but we don't really think that it could happen to us. And when you get hit with a cancer diagnosis, and it doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, there's women in their 20s who find out they have breast cancer. There's women in their 80s. It doesn't matter. When you find out, and it doesn't have to be breast cancer, any cancer, when you get hit with that news, your whole sense of security and what I can count on and what's going to happen tomorrow and next year and all these things that we just take for granted, they all get torn asunder. And that process, and I'm going to call it a process because it really has been for me, that process of moving through all of those emotions and moving through the faith issues involved in that and coming out on the other end has been, for me, one of the I will say not one of, the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life.
And even though you probably got a support system, you really need to do this on your own, don't you?
You have to, because there's nobody else in your head and in your heart and in your spirit and in your soul but you. And yes, you need the support system, absolutely. There's some wonderful resources online, and the people in my life were fabulous. The listeners to my radio show, George, were unbelievable. The listeners to your radio show were unbelievable.
Oh, I was getting emails for months about, where are you? Where is she? What did you do to her?
And letters.
Have you dumped her? What did you do? I mean, they were yelling at me in some cases.
What did you do?
I said, no, she's not feeling well. You know?
She's hiding. I know. And, cards, letters, gifts, financial support, everything. I've never realized how loved and supported I was before this happened. We kind of know. But, boy, I'll tell you, when you're going through it and you're just saying, can I even get through another day? And then somebody sends you a card, or they send you a check, or they send you an email, and it's got the right moment of the right message, and you say, Lord, I know you're working through me.
Well, tomorrow my daughter's going in for an MRI because they spotted a little something on a mammogram a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
So I'm sitting back here with my fingers crossed, saying a little prayer, just hoping that whatever it was, they will find and say it's benign.
Well, the good news, and I really want to encourage women who have not gone in, who may have a suspicion, the good news is that most mammograms come back and say, you're fine, it's not cancer. And even if they come back and say it
That's
is,
good.
But luckily, just because the false positive is what it is, it stresses you out, which makes your body more acidic, which makes the cancer that is there grow even more. And it's the one thing that Bush did that was worth anything. In 2007, he did that study on cancer to help the insurance companies not have to pay for mammograms. And what they found was that cancer is in all of us. And the more acidic your body is, the less vegetables, the less herbs, the less spices you eat, the more grains and seafood and dairy and pretty much everything on the American plate you eat, coupled with not drinking enough water to flush that acid out, gives you an acidic pH, which makes the cancer cells grow into tumors, and then you end up with cancer. And then you have a biopsy is puncturing the tumor, which is trying to contain those cells, because your body's always trying to save itself. So your body sees that cancer is bad and knows it's growing and starts to encapsulate it, and then we puncture it to see if it's cancer, and then we release all those cells, and now it's spread all over your body. So please, people, we are evolved as hunter-gatherer. Fruits, spices, herbs. What the hell is the other one?
and here's
Wait a second. It's herbs, spices, fruits, and vegetables. Yeah, that's it. Herbs, spices, fruits, and vegetables. That we're a hunter-gatherer. That's what we could eat. That's all there was to eat. We're not supposed to be eating any of the stuff we have. A little bit of protein. When you kill a squirrel or a rabbit, or if you're lucky enough to get a boar, or if you all get together and get a, I don't know, a llama, or zebra or something. But we're not supposed to have anything but herbs and spices and fruits and vegetables, mainly. Little protein. But in any case, the acidic pH is what is killing us with the cancer. And she's about to get into probably that section. Have a good day.
what shocked me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. What I learned, and
what are they? Are they cysts if they're not cancer?
It can be all sorts of things. I mean, the breasts are they're lumpy and they're textured and they've got all sorts of things.
By the way, guys can get breast cancer too, can't they?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's around 1% of breast cancers are actually men. So yes, it can happen because we've all got the same tissue in there. It's just whether you got the hormones to make it expand.
Turmeric. Take turmeric.
Turmeric, curcumin, and
pile it on.
Absolutely. I tell everybody I talk to now, if you have any concern, any risk, whether it's prostate cancer, breast cancer, curcumin is one of the most researched, and you know, the MD Anderson right now, one of the top research facilities in the country, is doing tests on curcumin. And I always use that, George, as my evidence to people. You know, you get all these emails.
Well, did you take turmeric, curcumin?
I take it every day.
Did you take that before the cancer? Before you knew about it?
I didn't, because I didn't even know about it.
Okay.
So every day, speaking of supplements, my husband, bless his heart, he has been so wonderful to me this year. He and I went out, and we are both researchers, and we dug and we dug. We were on PubMed, and we were in the medical journals. We were reading everything, the alternative stuff. I've seen every video. Please don't send me a video. I've watched it already. Every alternative practitioner, I've read everything they've got. I've got probably 50 books, and I've read them all. So everything I could get my hands on, alternative, natural, homeopathic, allopathic, conventional, I've read it all.
And she saved herself in a year. Go ahead.
So going through that process, we actually identified kind of the best of both worlds. Because in my case, my cancer was actually stage 3C, which is about as bad as you can.
Stage 3!
Yeah, it is. 5 is bad, right?
Well, it only goes up to 4.
It only goes to 4.
So, and it only goes up to C.
Oh.
It doesn't
Well,
get
you were knocking on the door then.
I was like, the way I pictured, I was teetering on the edge of the cliff, you know, like the Roadrunner cartoons.
Yeah.
Just need a little, we're going in the air.
A little push with a finger, and over you would have gone.
That's right. And thank God, and I mean the God in heaven, the God who created us, thank God that I found it in time to get back off that cliff and get the treatment. Now, here's what my passion is this year, and I want to come back on the show because this is going to be my thing.
You're going to give us little updates, aren't you?
I'm going to write a book. I'm going to get this out there. So my thing was, I don't want to die. Now, I, just like you and every other listener to this show, was like, chemo, no way, that's poison. Radiation, no way, that's going to burn me. Surgery, no way, I'm like this, blah, blah, blah. And so I started, when I first found the lump, got the diagnosis, saw the tree, said, oh my gosh, am I going to live? I said, give me some time, give me a month. Give me a month. They all wanted, we got to have surgery, we got to get you going. So give me a month. And in that month, I am going to be Ms. Superhuman for natural things. And I did everything. I had natural juices. I eliminated all the bad stuff from my diet. I took supplements.
Increased your pH levels. You did it all, right?
I did it all. Everything. You name it, I did it. And a month later, I said, before you go in there, I want you to do another sonogram, and I want you to determine the size of the tumor, and I want you to tell me if it shrunk. I was doing meditation. I was envisioning my immune cells shrinking in and shrinking. I was doing all of it.
And this is without treatment?
This was without treatment, because I said, give me a month.
Okay.
Give me a month to do the alternatives. And when I went
It's been growing for years. A month is not going to kill you.
back, not only had it not shrunk, there was even some concern that it might have grown. And I've got an aggressive...
Well, you sound like Steve Jobs now. Same thing happened to you, right?
So I was like, okay, I've tried it. I gave it my best shot, and now...
All right, a month is not really enough. Your body takes time. It has been growing for years.
I'm going to let you guys tell me what your best shot is. And that's when they gave me all the literature on the chemo, on the radiation, on the surgery, on the quote-unquote so-called conventional treatments.
Do both.
In my case, exactly. So everybody was screaming at me, don't do it, on both sides. Don't do some crazy, wacky alternative thing. Don't do conventional treatments. And so what I did, and my husband did, is we picked and chose the best from both. And what's really happening out there is you've got the conventional oncologists are in like a war with the natural people, and they're shooting guns at each other, and we patients are getting caught in the crossfire.
That's right.
And what I said instead is, I'm going to get out of that war. I'm going to pick the best that both of you guys can offer, and then I'm going to grab it and I'm going to scoot back and let you guys fight it out. So I did the conventional treatment because in my case, the cancer that I had was so dangerous, being stage 3C on the edge of that cliff, that had I even waited a couple of months, I could have gone over the edge and had metastatic terminal breast cancer. So I knew, and I lost my aunt to this disease. She did garlic supplements instead of traditional, conventional chemo, and she probably would still be alive today had she taken it seriously and done what the doctors said.
We had an interview with Dr. Tullio Simonacci from Rome, who uses baking soda. He injects it.
Yeah, let's not forget, this lady only has been getting into it for the last year. There's a guy, the only answer to cancer, Dr. Leonard Caldwell, who cures people of cancer without radiation or any of the stuff that she might have been taking if she's doing Western medicine. But in any case, there are many options, which is the important part. And a lot of times they don't let you know about all the options.
Into the tumor.
But you have a smartphone, and it's as smart as you are. So look some of this stuff up.
And apparently he's killing these things.
Well, yeah, and a couple of his patients maybe haven't done so well too. So yeah, and I gotta get this out.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because I'm pretty sure that he's cured something like 30,000 people of cancer, and I don't know that he has bad results. But in any case,
whenever somebody says, I've got a cure for cancer, or I'm doing something that's working for cancer, what I always say is, where is the research?
Right.
Now,
You've got
I've got a doctorate from Harvard, and what they taught me when I got a doctorate, I'm not a medical doctor, I've got a doctorate in human development and psychology, consumer education. So it's actually an EDD, but same thing. So that they taught me how to discern what's in the research. And so when I got cancer, and all these people were sending me alternative things, Lorraine Day and Simonacci and all these guys, and, Gerd Hamer and all these alternative people, I researched it. I looked it up. And what I found was that they're using testimonials, but not research. And a lot of people will say, well, that's because nobody will fund their research. And to that I say, no, because if you look at what's going on